Hey YouTube, it's Renee. I'm finally done with my California album, and you probably think, gosh, that took forever, but it is actually 50 pages with all the inserts. And if you hear some loud breathing, that is my dog Crystal. She's a loud breather, and she thinks I am talking to her, so she is smiling and panting. So anyway, I'm going to show you what I used. I end up using a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, I did not use any of these. Or any of these. I did use some of these. A few for some titles and a few little stickers here and there. I used about half of the frames. There's still a whole ton left. I used a lot of these enamel dots. Sorry, I bumped the camera there. I used, look at, I mean, this whole sheet was full. I used all of these stars. I used every sticker except these two. I'm not going to take these out, but I used a handful of these vellum arrows. I used a good deal of these. There's only 4 left. I used, I think, 3 of the 4 frames. I've got 1 left. I added these in, and I've only got 5 left. I have got 1 little flare badge from this. I actually like some bits and pieces, but it says lives here, and I didn't think that was appropriate because I don't really live in California. I used 1 of these paper clips. I used all of these. There were quite a few of them in there. Except for this one, are jams. And I could have forced it in there, but I have an idea for a page to use this up. I used about 3 of these Freckled Fawn arrows, clips. They kind of got buried in the bottom. I used a lot of these letters for titles. I don't even know. I've got a couple A's left, so maybe I'll have a few left. And then I discovered, since I used so many of those, I had these from a different Freckled Fawn kit. So I used those. I have empty cork stars, I think they were. Another empty, these were Flare by Evilicious. I don't know, Go See Do badges. Another empty packet of Flare. Another empty packet of Flare badges from Studio Calico. I used all the chic tags. I used them all. I used up all the cassettes from Alison Krauth. It kind of seemed like appropriate for my 80s reunion. I used all the labels for the Alison Krauth Ocean Medley. And I used all these labels. And sorry about that, I bumped the camera. This was a Freckled Fawn kit. I used up all the vellum. And then this one, I used all of 2. It came also with some vellum pockets. I used all of those. And then I used about half of the Studio Calico wood veneers. And I used quite a bit of this Heidi Swap pack. I used a lot of the 3x4 cards and a lot of the chipboard embellishments. I still have quite a few of the 4x6 cards. They didn't quite go, but I'd say I used about half of this pack. And then I used quite a few of these as well. I used about half the canvas, about 3/4 of the 3x4s, in maybe half of the 4x6s. I was concerned because you see how these two are like different colors. I was concerned about how they would take the mist, but they actually took the mist really well. And then I added in some of the Solstice line, and you can see I used quite a bit of this one and a little bit of this one. I use this stamp set quite a bit. I pulled in some Heidi Swap grid cards and I stamped out this observation. I also used these three, the lines that say notes, the arrows, and this one that says let's stay in this moment. I use those quite a bit. I used some of this Mama Elephant. I think the one that says let's go on an epic adventure. Yeah, I just used that one. And then I also pulled in this stamp I got at a garage sale. I think this one that says snapshots and these little like arrows, and I don't know if you can see that with the reflection. There's like a asterisk, camera, those kind of things. I used those. I used quite a bit of the blue letters and a little bit of the red letters. And then I only used maybe 3 or 4 of the bags, so still got quite a few left of those, but I'll use those. There's 12 in there, so I used a quarter of them. I use this washi quite a bit. You're probably seeing that I've used this Bella Boulevard polka dot. I used the yellow a little bit. I used the red and the plain and this freckled fawn one. I brought in some paper cups, Tim Holtz, that I hadn't put in the original kit, and I didn't use this wood grain at all. And then I edged everything with the faded jeans from Tim Holtz. Now I'll go on to the papers of what I have left. So I used mostly the Webster's Pages Ocean Melody. And I used tons and tons of it. I only really have scraps left. So from the vellum sheet, I have this one, Bonfire and S'mores. They really didn't go with my theme. I have this really beautiful ocean vellum. I have this card from one sheet. This one didn't really go either. This one didn't really go. This one's really pretty. I wish I could have used it. Same thing with this one. They were odd sizes. This one didn't really go either. And then I just have scraps of the papers. I believe this was a card too. I didn't really use that one. But yeah, just scraps. And then of the other papers that I brought in some navy, and then I just have scraps of this, you know, this conversation. A little scrap of the Amy Tan, a little scrap of the Maggie Holmes, a little scrap of this ledger I brought in, a little scrap of this, I think it was Creative Memories. And then I didn't use this one at all. And this one, no, not at all. I ended up bringing in some gold to back some of the cards, and I used some of this, probably about half a sheet. And I also ended up bringing in the Chamel collection. I got some papers that I showed you in my haul from Crafts Direct. I ended up using from the 6x6. I ended up actually using a lot of these little cut aparts. So I think I used like maybe half a dozen pages. This was from a big sheet of yellow that I used almost all of it up. So I just have a little strips. And then a couple pages that of the 12x12s that I used to frame out some pages. I still have a whole sheet of this camera. I thought I might cut them apart. And a whole sheet of this paper. And then another one of these. Remember, I got 2 of these. I liked both sides. So that's what I used up, and I will be back in a minute to show you my album. It's probably going to be 2 parts. So buckle in. It's about 50-some pages. But I am proud of how much stuff I used. That's great. Yay, go me. Okay, so here I am with my album. I'm retaping this because I noticed a lot of mistakes that I made. So take 2. This is my title page, and usually what I do on a title page is I take a lot of the leftover scraps of paper and leftover embellishments, and I kind of throw them all together, and that's what I get. So it's kind of like a little sneaky peeky of what you're going to see in the album. So what you see here is a lot of the pieces of that Ocean Melody. These vellum frames are from the Ocean Melody. There's one of those paper bags. These little stickers are from the Ocean Melody. These ones are from the Solstice. I had one little cork star left. I had some vellum left and a vellum arrow, and I really do like this bokeh paper. It's pretty. It reminds me of California on a beautiful day. So that is my title page. I got a few of those little stars on there too. This is California Nostalgia Trip. My bestie and I lived in California in 88 and 89 when we went to Defense Language Institute, and that's kind of what this page is about here. We see each other about every year, every other year for the last 10-15 years. But this is a picture of us when we graduated from Defense Language Institute. We studied Russian for a year there. I was there a little longer because I had a medical recycle. It's a very difficult school. It's foreign language intensive. One language, 6 hours a day. 60% of the people, 60%, yes, that's 60% of the people fail out. So we started the class with about 160, 170, and we ended up with like 56 people. So we were going to celebrate our 25th anniversary of being friends, because we met there, and also of graduating that school, because that's an accomplishment. So anyway, this is my mind's eye paper. I liked all the little quotes because we were like, you know, going to be reminiscing and stuff. I used some ledger paper. This is a Heidi Swapp card. This is one of those pure framed wood veneers of stars. These are the stickers from the Ocean Melody, and this favorite is from the Heidi Swapp from those packs that I got at Michael's. So, oh, I also used a few little vellum. I don't know if you can see. Those are from Freckle Fine Kit. They're in French, but I figured it's foreign language, so it's all good. And then from Becky Higgins, I used some of these little dividers for each of the different areas that we were in. This one we were staying in Windsor and Sonoma. This is when we went to Healdsburg. This is my goddaughter, Lois. This is a selfie of me. We stopped at the cupcake place, and I got a lime, which I love lime and I love green, a lime and coconut macaroon, and she got a red velvet cupcake. These Heidi Swapp are the ones that, the DIY-ish ones, I think it's called, and I sprayed those with the teal. They already had gold on these ones, so I just backed these with that gold from my stash. And then I just, not pretty, yeah, but I did some journaling here about things we did in Healdsburg. And then this is just kind of a random mishmash of things. These are from the Heidi Swapp. These are from the Ocean Melody, and I used some Navy cardstock. We studied Russian during the Cold War. In fact, the Berlin Wall fell while we were serving. My friend was stationed in Germany. I was not. I was back here. So she found this Cold War red. It's bottled in an old secret facility in Virginia, kind of by where she lives. So she got a couple bottles for us to celebrate with that. And then she went to the Ukraine, so she picked up some presents for me. And this is just kind of a funny thing, is we were in the Safeway in Healdsburg picking up some wine and, well, not wine, but picking up some alcohol and some cheese. And this is frozen lemonade that said alcohol is in it. So we thought that was kind of funny. And I used up these canvases are Heidi Swapp, and the cork are from the Freckle Fund. And the labels are October Afternoon. So then this spread is called Watch Out for Emus, because our little spot by our hotel across the street there was a farm, and it had some emus, and those things are so sneaky. Lois wanted to take a picture with this little cow here and was petting it, and these emus would like duck down and they would pop up and get you. And there was a sign warning us that they like to take your fingers off, so it was particularly scary. So there's Lois freaking out, there's me freaking out. These are from the Ocean Melody. These are Amy Tan. This was just a wood piece paper. I cut it up in several spots. I don't remember where it's from. And then Chamel, and then this is Freckle Fawn, no good, very rotten, bad. It said something and I covered it up. The gold, the gold are from Heidi Swapp. And then this is the Bella Winery, so more of the Heidi Swapp cards. And these chipboards are Heidi Swapp. This is Chamel, Freckle Fawn washi, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so these are just random pictures, my friend and I in the cave. I actually like this Bella Winery. I bought a lot of wine there. I'm not going to go too much into it. It's all the same kind of stuff. More Heidi Swapp and layering up the Chamel and the chipboard and the washi. This one's Sabragia. We went there because they said it had the best views. And this is just a little insert. And here I backed that Heidi Swapp on some gold. More Heidi Swapp. This is a Heidi Swapp card with telling a little story about what happened in the winery. Again, more Heidi Swapp. More Chamel. More washi. This is a piece of Chamel. My friend likes this wine, Clos du Bois. And so we ended up stopping there. I need to reprint this picture of my friend because it didn't turn out very good. Here's another Heidi Swapp card. This one is Coppola Winery. Some pictures. These are Chamel. Layering up some washi, Chamel, and those some cork hearts. And now we're getting into San Francisco. So have a little divider. Went to Haight-Ashbury. Those are where I used the Chamel and some of the Freckle Fawn. Here I laid up some Chamel and some badges and some washi and the Haight-Ashbury sign, and then just some street art of a pigeon smoking a doobie. And this is just a few random photos that I had that didn't really fit anywhere. I took this photo. This toy store is actually closed, but I like the name of it, and I thought my daughter Megan would appreciate that because she likes robots and she likes toys. And then we saw this fire truck driving all around the city. So we were like walking around the city, and then this fire truck would come. It was just like cruising San Francisco, which it was a big long ladder truck, so it's like weird. Anyway, these are Chamel. Those are those I Heart Summer from Simple Stories. These are chic tags. It's just a little piece of ledger paper that I had left over. And I didn't have quite enough on the 2 6x6, so I just took a piece of white cardstock and then put those together. And here's the layout. The bottom layer is Doodlebug. And I wanted to use this matte paper, and I wanted to use the stars to show where the three of us live. So I live in Minneapolis area. My friend Carolyn lives in the DC area, and my friend Julie lives in the Sacramento area. So we all reunited in San Francisco. So there's some clusters here, use some badges, and this just tells how I haven't seen Julie in 25 years. So it was fun to reconnect, and she could get together with us for the weekend in San Francisco. And then this is just a picture of us having lunch. There's my friend Carolyn and her daughter Lois, and then Julie and I. And I use a lot of Heidi Swapp stuff here. I use the cards. I use the chipboard. This is Studio Calico. And I originally had a big border of yellow, but I did not like it, so I cut it down and made a smaller one and backed it on navy cardstock. This is Chamel. And a little bit of Freckle Fawn washi tape. I liked it because I thought that the conversation bubbles kind of like we're all getting together, you know, reminiscing. So I thought it was appropriate. I like how that one turned out. I might write something here. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. So now we are getting into a little more San Francisco. That was Pier 39. And now we're in Chinatown. And here's where I used some of that, what was the Freckle Fawn stamp. And I used some washi and some Flair and those Freckle Fawn letters. So we stayed about a block and a half away from the Chinatown gate, the Dragon Gate. And so there's us getting a picture. And then there on the back of the wall, somebody drew a little bit of graffiti, little chibis. They were cute. I wish they wouldn't have defaced that. And then here's just some more pictures of Chinatown. I like this building. And then my friend offered to take a picture of me, so that's just me goofing around. And then just a mishmash of stuff. Because I really didn't have too much more to say. This is from that High Swap kit, Project Life kit. And then this is, I cut a little piece from the Chamel, random flares, and washi, and stickers, and enamel dots. I'm going to reprint that picture. I printed that one on my selfie, Canon selfie. And then here's just some street art I thought was cool in Chinatown. And this little insert, I used the sticker and the washi and this flare badge. We went up in this restaurant and then we looked at the menu and we saw that it was $30 for an appetizer, and we said, yikes, not today. I don't think your food is that great. So we left. And then there's just a picture of a selfie that Lois and I took of the view. This one is kind of a mishmash of the 6x6 papers, one of those Heidi Swapp cards. These two papers are Chamel. I did some stamping with that garage sale stamp set that I showed you. I have wood veneer, I have Flair, I have cassettes. This is just, we went out to this piano bar. And it wasn't quite what we were expecting, but it turned out okay. But our main thing was to do some reminiscing, so it well worked out in the end. And then here's just another layout I did. I sprayed with the teal. I used the cork. I punched these circles out of one of the pink Heidi Swapp cards. Sticker with some enamel dots. I grounded it all on the washi and just layered up some stuff and layered up these two Project Life cards. I might write something here, I might not. It's just a picture of the three of us, and then here's a Sunday brunch that we went to. So I may or may not write more. And then here I used a lot of Heidi Swapp cards from that set. And then I also used some washi, enamel dots, some frames, and this is Maggie Holmes behind him. And here we are in the back of the ferry building. This is the Bay Bridge behind us. And I didn't realize that I have the Golden Gate Bridge. It doesn't really match, but oh well, I didn't really have anywhere else to put it. And then these, I sprayed more of those cards. I put the yellow washi behind it. I stamped using that Freckle Fawn set. This one I stamped upside down on accident, so I just stamped right side up. Oh well, who cares? Just some stamping and talking about all of these sea lions on Pier 39. And when we were in Monterey, we got greeted every morning by the sea lion chorus. So I always have a little thing for the sea lions. It makes me kind of nostalgic. And then I am Lois's godmother. So here is a selfie that she and I took. She is better at the selfie. I think she took the selfie and I didn't. And I wanted to use up a bunch of frames and some of the papers that were little scraps, and then some of the Flair. And this paper was already kind of divided, so this one was just quick and easy. Just selfie me a little with the Golden Gate Bridge behind us. And then this one, I really did not start liking. I had this plaid paper and I wanted to use it, but then it was just way too plaid. So then I tried using some texture paste with a stencil to try to break it up, and then it just looked like, So I really wasn't happy, so I started layering all kinds of stuff, including, like, you know, the ticket, and, you know, this is wood veneer from Heidi Swapp, and it says Hello Cable Cars. And I used this vellum Polaroid, but I still wasn't happy with it. So then I cut it down and I added this yellow to the layout, and then I really liked it. And then I added the pink. So both these two are from the Schmel, and then now I like it. But holy buckets, I tell you, I was stuck on this page for the longest time. I was not happy with it. I've got a Project Life card kind of hiding behind there too, and then this is that Maggie Holmes not wood veneer paper, and a few vellum arrows too. So I like that one. And then this one was pretty quick and simple. I had pictures of Lombard Street, and I had this My Mind's Eye paper, and so I just did a grid myself, used those Simple Stories stickers, those are all Simple Stories, and then added some flair, and then this was a little sticker from that Freckle Fawn, so that one was fast and easy. And then the last one I'm going to show you before I take a break is this one of my friend. She's going into this place. We're on our way to Monterey, and we stopped for lunch, and then Lois with her fan of mini bananas, but my friend Carolyn is like a fiend for artichokes, so we stopped at this little stand place outside of, I think it was in Moss Landing, which is pretty close to Monterey, and got some farm fresh artichokes. So I've got a couple of Project Life cards here and here. Then I've layered up a big scallop of that Creative Memories paper, then a navy circle, then a pure frame, and then those sheet tags. And then I scattered some stars and a couple of wood veneer arrows. And this is really old K.I. Memories paper, so I like how that one turned out too. So thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next episode. Talk to you in a little bit.